bring in former Victorian Liberal Party President Michael Kroger and former Labor Minister and our Sky News regular as well, Stephen Conroy. Gentlemen, great to see you. What a big week it's been, Stephen. First to you, Julian Lisa gone. We had Simon Birmingham yesterday saying it's not his intention to campaign for the no vote, and now Jacinta Price looks like she will be the next shadow Indigenous Affairs Minister. That certainly, she appears the favourite for it anyway.
Well, look, I can't wait to see Simon Birmingham standing on the same platform as Jacinta Price. I think, Simon got himself in a whole mess of trouble yesterday. He's one of the four leaders. I've been the leader of the government in the Senate. And you just can't walk away from a party position like that. And Jacinta will leave him nowhere to hide. I think he's really going to have to firm up his open support. I mean, he wouldn't even commit to vote against it in the ballot box, trying to hide behind it's a secret ballot. Like, Simon, you're either voting the party position or you're going to vote for it. And if you are, you should tell people. Julian Lisa, obviously, he's got a long-standing position on this. Always difficult in those circumstances to resign a position. And you have to have some respect for him, but I'm confused as to what his alternate is. I'm not really sure, but his alternate proposal has enough meat on the bones to be attractive to Labor.
Michael Kroger, given the opposition leaders now all in arguing that it's a divisive Canberra voice, it seems the next logical step would be to go for an advocate like Jacinta Price, who is a very compelling politician.
Well, she is very compelling, and I hope Peter does that, because I think she's an outstanding person. And not only that, Jacinta Price has got courage. I mean, let's be frank, it's very hard. It's very hard, in politics to stand, on these issues one way or the other. And for her, given the issues she had in her own family, her own background, etc., she's been a person of enormous courage, and I think she'd be a great promotion. Nobody better, and I certainly hope Peter appoints her. Disappointing we've lost Julian, obviously, and let's just hope that the shadow ministers get behind the leader and support the campaign to vote against the voice, KG.
Stephen Conroy, how difficult is this now for Labor to navigate when you've got Peter Dutton in Alice Springs? He's been there 48 hours with Jacinta Price and talking to very passionate people that are worried about the future of that town and the very real world problems of that crime crisis, versus the voice, which is still several months away, even if it is successful.
Yeah, look, I mean, Peter Dutton is being politically clever in the short term. I mean, wanting to highlight the ongoing terrible situation in Alice is, that's solid politics, but it's too clever by half. What he's really trying to do is a bit of both dog whistling and a bit of, Albo should be here, the voice isn't going to do anything to help these people. So it's politically clever. But Peter, you've got to face up to your position, and you've got to face up to advocating your position. Stop trying to use the issue of Alice Springs as a reason to not talk about and debate the voice referendum. Too clever by half. In the end, he'll get caught by this.
Michael, that comparison, it has been derided as being politics by Labor today, not just Stephen, but I spoke to Claire O'Neill, that interview coming up in full in a moment, but they're saying that this is simply expedient in politics.
Well, Claire and Stephen, to go to the actual heart of the problem and be on the ground for a couple of days with Jacinta Price and to talk to people about the problem, there's something wrong with that. I think if that's your view, then you have been in Canberra for too long. You are part of the Canberra bubble. I mean, Albo's been there for 4 hours. He spent more than 10 hours at the tennis, as we know. He's made one visit there. For Dutton to be criticised, actually going there is just shows you how poor this debate has become. When people think that someone actually going to Alice Springs to see what's happening and talking to people that there's some kind of political game being played. That's completely disingenuous. It's completely untrue. What all of these problems need is people on the ground listening to locals to get local solutions to these major problems. And that's what Peter Dutton's done. And I can't see that should be criticised in any way at all, mate.
Stephen Conroy, are you comfortable with where the campaign is at now in the mid-50s? You know politics better than anyone and polling.
Yeah.
Is that a comfortable lead? Look,
well, the campaigns haven't really kicked off yet. We've had a lot of, skirmishing. We've had, a lot of debate about what might be the wording. We've now got the wording. The real campaigns will kick off and build up. I mean, I think 56 is a very solid base. 54, 56, very solid base to start. And when the facts are on the table, the Australian public will be able to make an informed judgment, not the sort of scare campaign and the misleading campaign by some, but when the debate, the advocates have been involved over the next few months, I think it's a very solid base. I'd rather be starting where Labor is and the Indigenous community at large is than be Peter Dutton.
Well, there is a lot at stake for both leaders, but one would suggest that Peter Dutton has gone all in with the no. If it gets up, and after losing Aston, it'd be super difficult for him, wouldn't it, Michael?
Well, it'd be disappointing for the coalition and for those that oppose the voice if it does get up. But herein lies the problem for the opposition, that the government, this is one of 20 things the government is doing. For the opposition, it's 1 out of 1. And this gets back to the point I keep making. If all the opposition are doing are talking about the voice all day long and don't have any positive forward-looking policies of their own, then you'll be judged on what happens in relation to the voice. Albo can lose the voice and still talk about wage increases, patent bargaining, relations with China, the Republic, and 1,000 other things that he's doing as a leader of a young government. But if the coalition doesn't put forward its own ideas for the future of the country, then it will be judged by 1 out of 1. And that's I think, the mistake the coalition's making. It's actually got to get on the front foot now, early, for the next election, which, by the way, is, we're a third of the way through the term already almost.
Yeah.
So I don't know what people are waiting for.
Yeah.